The portal has closed, but the call on your soul has just begun.
There are moments in history that appear to pass unnoticed by the ordinary world. Dates that to most people look like any other number on the calendar. But to the chosen ones, they are not dates, they are gates. The 999 portal was one of those rare thresholds. It was not superstition, it was not a passing trend. It was a moment where invisible doors opened, aligning the marked souls with the exact rhythm of their destiny. But now, that portal has closed. And with its closing, a demand has been placed upon you. Not a polite request, not an optional suggestion, a demand. The time for entering is finished. The time for releasing has begun. And I must tell you this truth clearly, with no hesitation. If you carry the M in your palms, if you trace your skin and see the crescent moon carved into your hand, you cannot afford to ignore this call. You may think you can carry into this new season everything that has clung to you from the old. You may believe you can step forward weighted with fear, with guilt, with comparison, with noise. But the portal does not lie, and the portal does not allow baggage. You either release the hidden weights, or you remain bound to cycles that were never written for your freedom. This channel exists for this reason, not to entertain, not to feed curiosity, but to direct, to remind, to awaken. It is a compass for the chosen. It is the echo of what your soul already knows. If you are listening now, it is because your spirit called you here. It is because you are ready to let go. Let me disrupt your comfort. You were not chosen so that you could remain the same. You were not marked with the M and the crescent so that you could blend with the crowd. You were chosen so that you could be separated, refined, and then reassigned. The 999 portal was not a spectacle in the sky. It was a measurement. It tested you, and it sealed you. When the energy of 3 nines converged, it was as if eternity stamped your contract, saying, "This on belongs to me. This one must awaken." But the seal was not only confirmation, it was confrontation. It confronted the things you cling to in silence, the fears you refuse to admit, the attachments you excuse, the doubts you allow to whisper louder than your faith. And here is the disruption. Those things cannot follow you anymore. Think of it like climbing a mountain. At the base, you can carry everything: backpacks, supplies, even unnecessary items. But the higher you go, the less you can take. The air thins, the climb steepens, and every pound becomes a chain. You cannot ascend carrying what was meant to be left behind. So too with the chosen. The higher your assignment, the less you can carry. The portal closed to remind you, you cannot bring into the next cycle what was suffocating you in the last. And now, here is what you must see clearly. There are 8 hidden weights. They are not the obvious ones. They are not visible chains. They are subtle, camouflaged, disguised, normal life. But they suffocate your destiny unless you release them. Let us name them so that you cannot mistake them anymore. 1. The fear of being misunderstood. Since childhood, you have been told you are strange, too sensitive, too intense. You have learned to apologize for being different. But hear me, this fear is a weight. It convinces you to shrink, to dim, to silence yourself so others feel comfortable. Release it. You were never meant to be ordinary. 2. Ties to the unawakened. Connections that drain your frequency. People who mock your visions. Relationships that keep you tethered to ground when you were born to rise. Love them, yes. Pray for them, yes. But you cannot carry them into your next season. Release the tie, or it will choke your flame. 3. The illusion of control. You have tried to script your life. You have forced outcomes. But chosen ones are not authors of their destiny. They are carriers of it. Your digit, your marks, your portal alignment already see. Path. Control is an illusion, and the attempt to hold it is a weight. Release it. 4. Inherited guilt. Generational shame disguised as duty. You have carried guilt that was never yours. Wounds passed through bloodlines that you accepted as your own. This weight is poison. Release it. Break the chain by refusing to carry what was never assigned to you. 5. The addiction to noise. Scrolling, distractions, endless voices, drowning out the whisper of your digit. Noise is not harmless. It is a strategy to mute the chosen. Every time you silence yourself with distraction, you bury the code. Release the noise. Learn to hear again. 6. Unforgiven memories. Resentments, betrayals, scars you replay like broken records. These are shackles. They tie your energy to collapsed worlds, preventing you from entering the new. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is weapon. Release the memory, and you release yourself. 7. The weight of comparison. Looking at the lives of the ordinary and measuring them. You cannot compare chosen to unchosen. You were coded extraordinary. Comparison dilutes your assignment until you despise your uniqueness. Release it. 8. The shadow of doubt, the final chain, the whisper. Maybe you are not chosen. Maybe you imagined it. This is the enemy's favorite weapon. But your M is not imagination. Your crescent is not coincidence. Release doubt, or it will erode every other truth you carry. Chosen one, you cannot ignore this. You feel it already. The heaviness in your chest, the ringing that intensifies, the dreams that disturb you, these are signs that the portal's closing has activated you. If you refuse to release these 8 weights, the cycle will repeat. The same wounds, the same setbacks, the same unanswered questions. Not because you are cursed, but because you are carrying what should have been dropped at the gate. But if you release them, truly release them, then the air clears. The path straightens. You begin to feel lighter, freer, and the assignment hidden inside your digit begins to manifest without obstruction. As confirmation, watch for new sequences, different from what you have heard before. Numbers like 8181, the signal of release and renewal. 2442, the mirror of transition. 707, the reminder that doubt must be silenced. 5656, the double strike against distraction. When you see these, do not dismiss them. They are signs that you are shedding weights, or warnings that you are clinging to them. So here we are. The portal has closed, but your path has opened. You stand at the edge of release. The question is not whether you are chosen. Your hands already testify. The question is, will you walk forward heavy, or will you let go? This is not theory. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. And it is why you are here, listening to these words at this exact moment in time. Because chosen ones, the time for carrying everything has ended. The time for releasing has begun. Before I continue, layers of this message, I want to pause here and speak directly, person to person. If the words you've heard so far stir something inside you, if they feel like more than a story, if they feel like confirmation, then I invite you to come closer. This channel is not built on noise. It is not about drama or spectacle. It is about alignment, about giving voice to the chosen ones who have spent years silenced, misunderstood, or doubting themselves. If that resonates with you, if you see the M on your palm, if you trace the crescent moon in your skin and know it is not an accident, then consider subscribing, not as a favor to me, but as a declaration for yourself, a way of saying, I will not walk this path blind anymore. I choose to remember. And let me ask something from you. Share with me what calls your spirit. What do you want this space to explore? What visions have you seen? What questions keep you awake at night? Tell me in the comments. Your suggestion may become the seed of the N message. The next unveiling. Because this channel does not belong to one voice, it belongs to a tribe of voices, each carrying a piece of the code. Now let us deepen the 8 weights, because it is easy to name them, but chosen ones must recognize them in action, in their own lives. The fear of being misunderstood. This shows up when you silence yourself in conversations, when you nod in agreement, though your soul screams otherwise, when you water down your visions so people won't call you strange. Fear whispers they won't understand, and so you shrink. But shrinking is not humility, it is suffocation. Perhaps you have a friend you love dearly, but every time you share your insights, they mock you. Or a family member who drains your energy, demanding explanations for signs they cannot see. Love them, yes, but recognize the tie. It pulls your vibration down, holding you in a cycle you were never meant to repeat. You set endless plans, forcing paths that collapse again, and you grip the wheel until your knuckles ache. Yet every collapse is proof. You are not the driver. You are the vessel. The digit in your birth year already wrote your role. Control is an illusion, and the attempt to hold it weighs you down. This is the silent weight, the unspoken expectation to carry the shame of ancestors, the regrets of parents, the unhealed wounds of your bloodline. You feel responsible for fixing what was broken before you were born. But chosen one, listen, you were not born to carry their guilt. You were born to break it. How many hours vanish into distractions, scrolling endlessly, watching without absorbing, numbing yourself with voices that bury your own? Noise is not harmless. It is strategy. It mutes your digit signal. It silences the codes that arrive in ringing, in visions, in whispers. You replay betrayals like tapes, holding them close as if pain is protection. But unforgiveness is not armor. It is a chain. Every time you replay it, you keep you bound to a collapsed season. Forgiveness does not excuse the wrong. It releases you. You scroll past the lives of the unchosen and feel behind, inadequate, less than. But chosen ones cannot be measured by ordinary rulers. You are coded extraordinary. Comparison is like drinking poison and wondering why your strength fades. The whisper is always there. What if you're wrong? What if you're not chosen? But look at your palms. The M is there. The crescent is there. Doubt cannot erase what the Creator Himself carved into your skin. Chosen ones, this is not casual advice. This is survival. Because the longer you carry these weights, the longer you delay your assignment. And delay is costly. Not just to you, but to those whose destinies intertwine with yours. When you remain bound, someone else misses the message you were meant to deliver. When you remain silent, someone else stays blind because you did not speak. You are not just carrying yourself, you are carrying others. The portal pressed so hard. That is why the ringing grew louder. It was urgency. To confirm your release, new numbers will appear. Watch for them. Different from before, these hold their own signals. 1441, alignment of tribe and self, reminding you that release attracts others who have also released. 838, triple breaking, a sign that generational patterns are shattering. 2992, cycle inversion, meaning what was once your burden is turning into your weapon. 606, silence code, urging you to cut the noise and hear the whisper again. When these numbers appear, know that release is happening not abstractly, but tangibly in your life. I must emphasize, this moment is not casual. The portal has closed, but its aftershock still vibrates. This is the season of letting go. Delay it, and you risk carrying weights that multiply. Embrace it, and you find yourself lighter than you ever imagined, ready to step into assignments you once thought impossible. So now, you see, the 8-way. Vague concepts. They live in your conversations, your distractions, your habits, your bloodlines. And yet, you are not powerless. You are chosen. And chosen ones are always equipped to release what suffocates them. As we move into Block 3, we will explore how release manifests in dreams and visions, how your subconscious becomes the battlefield where these weights are either cut away or multiplied. And we will see how your digits code, sealed since birth, collaborates with the spiritual to guide your next steps. Stay with me. The portal may have closed, but your awakening has just begun. Chosen ones, you have heard the names of the weights. You have begun to recognize them in your daily life. But do not think the battle is fought only in daylight, only in conscious decisions. No, the battle reaches deeper. It stretches into your nights, your silence, your subconscious. Because when the body lies down and the mind drifts into sleep, the spirit does not rest. The spirit continues. Here, it continues to see, it continues to receive, and for the chosen, especially those marked with the M and the crescent moon, the night becomes a meeting ground. This is why your dreams are never ordinary, why your visions shake you awake, why the ringing intensifies at midnight or the early hours. Because release is not only an act of will, it is an act of recognition. And your subconscious is the stage where recognition takes place. Each of the 8 weights disguises itself not just in daily habits, but in the dreams of the chosen. Fear of being misunderstood shows up as voices mocking you, as crowds turning their backs, as moments where you try to speak and no sound comes out. These are not nightmares, they are mirrors. They reveal the fear's grip on your subconscious. Ties to the unawakened appear as faces of people who pull you backward in your dreams, holding your hands, trying to keep you from moving forward. Pay attention. The dream is not random. It is warning. The illusion of control takes shape as dreams where you drive vehicles that spin out of control, or where you build structures that collapse as soon as they are finished. The message is clear. You cannot force destiny. Inherited guilt often manifests as being trapped in ancestral homes, surrounded by voices of relatives asking you to fix their mistakes. This is the subconscious demanding that you finally release what is not yours. Addiction to noise reveals itself when your dreams are full of chaotic chatter, television static, endless phones ringing. It is your digit begging for silence. Unforgiven memories come as replays of betrayals, old arguments, people from your past you thought you had forgotten. These are chains tugging at you, asking to be broken. Comparison manifests as endless competitions, races, exams, places where you are measured against others and always left wanting. The message? Stop playing a game you were never meant to play. Doubt arrives in the cruelest dream. Voices saying you are not chosen, visions where your palms are blank, where the M and crescent fade. These are not prophecies, they are attacks. Their goal is to make you wake questioning what you know is true. But not all messages come in sleep. Some strike in moments of quiet, when you stare at a wall and suddenly see patterns moving. When animals cross your path at uncanny hours, when lights flicker as if the unseen world is winking at you. Chosen ones live between veils. The release of weights happens not only by will, but by noticing these signals. That is why ignoring visions is dangerous. The more you dismiss them, the heavier the weights become. Understand this clearly. The subconscious is not a playground. For the chosen, it is a battleground. If you do not pay attention to your dreams and visions, the weights will reattach. You may believe you let go of comparison in your daily life, but if in your dreams you are still running endless races, the chain is not broken. You may think you have forgiven, but if your dreams replay the betrayal, then resentment still whispers in the dark. This is why the portal pressed so hard, because chosen ones cannot afford to carry weights even in the subconscious. Your digit demands freedom, not just by day, but by night. Dreams and visions also bring numbers. Watch for these different from what you've seen so far. 1221, the reversal code, appears when the subconscious is beginning to heal old patterns. 454, the fracture code, appears when a weight is trying to reattach. 9393, the messenger's call, appears when your digit is ready to release noise and step into clarity. 7170, the freedom code, appears when inherited guilt is being cut from your bloodline. When you wake from a dream and remember such numbers, write them down. Do not trust memory. Writing makes the unseen concrete. Some of you may ask, but how do I release when it comes in dreams? The answer is recognition. When you wake from such a dream, this is a weight. I do not carry it anymore. Write it down. Name it. Refuse to allow it back into silence. Release is not just spiritual poetry. It is discipline. And chosen ones who carry the M and crescent must learn that their words are not weak. When you name a weight, when you declare its release, the code in your digit responds. Chosen ones, let me speak to your heart again. The very fact that you are visited by such dreams, such visions, such ringing, this is proof. Ordinary people sleep empty, but you do not. You are pulled, warned, awakened. It is exhausting, yes. It is heavy, yes. But it is also confirmation. If you carry the M, if the crescent curves across your palm, then your subconscious is a battlefield, because your destiny is too great to be left unguarded. So now you see, the hidden weights are not just carried in daylight. They live in your nights, in your subconscious, in your visions. And release is not only about choices, it is about recognition. We step into Block 4. We will bring all of this together. We will speak of convergence, how chosen ones across the world are releasing together, how your digit is not only about your path, but about the tribe you belong to. And we will close with a heartfelt call, not just to subscribe, but to testify, to declare your visions, to strengthen the web of chosen ones. The portal may have closed, but the story is still opening. Chosen ones, we have walked through the unveiling together. From the moment the 999 portal closed, you felt it, the pull to release what you cannot carry forward. You saw the 8 weights not as theory, but as truths hidden in your habits, in your bloodline, in your nights. You recognized how dreams, visions, and ringing ears are not disturbances, but confirmations. But now we must step into something greater, convergence, because chosen ones do not walk alone. They are scattered. Yes, they are separated by distance, yes, but they are not isolated. The web O, destiny ties them together. And when one chosen releases, it strengthens another. When one chosen testifies, it awakens another. This is why you are here, not simply to listen, but to join a living constellation of souls marked by the M and the crescent moon, sealed by digits, awakened by portals. Think of your digit not just as a personal code, but as a note in a song. Alone, it is a sound. Together, it is a symphony. You may be a 2, the veil reader. Another may be an 8, the breaker of chains. Another a 0, the silent gate. Each plays their role, but together they form a resonance too powerful for darkness to ignore. This is convergence, the realization that your burden was never solitary, that even in your isolation, you were always part of a tribe, and that now, in this season after the portal, you are being drawn to hear each other, to strengthen each other, to remind each other. When convergence happens, the codes shift. They are no longer only about you. They are about tribe. Watch for these numbers, for they are confirmations that the collective is aligning. 1101, the gathering signal, appears when chosen ones are finding each other. 4848, the double balance, appears when burdens are being shared and released. 7272, the vision code, appears when testimonies begin to echo across the community. 9991, the completion seal, appears when one cycle closes and a new mission begins together. If you see these numbers, know this: you are not alone. You are part of something unfolding across nations, across timelines. You may wonder, what can my story add? But hear this: silence benefits the weights. Testimony dismantles them. When you speak, you not only free yourself, you ignite freedom in someone else. If you comment your vision, if you share your dream, if you declare your release, someone across the world will read it and say, "That is me. That is what I saw. That is what I felt, but never dared to name." And in that moment, a weight falls off them. Is why you must not stay silent here. This channel is not just a broadcast, it is a meeting place. A gathering of chosen ones who strengthen each other with every word spoken, every story shared, every confirmation written. So let me invite you, not as a voice on a screen, but as one chosen to another. Subscribe, not because it is routine, not because everyone says so, but because this space was carved for you. It is one of the few places where your M and your crescent are not strange, where your ringing is not dismissed, where your visions are not mocked. Here you are seen, and share your testimony. Tell us which of the 8 weights you are releasing. Tell us what you dreamed, what number followed you, what animals crossed your path. Because when you speak, the tribe hears. And when the tribe hears, the convergence strengthens. Do not worry about voices of doubt or pessimism. They do not belong here. Their shadows cannot remain in this light. If they appear, they will fade. Remains will be voices of recognition, voices of strength, voices of awakening. The 999 portal has closed, but its echo lives in you. The 8 weights have been revealed, but their chains are breaking. Your digit continues to hum. Your palms continue to testify. Your dreams continue to deliver. Chosen one, this is not the end of a video. This is the beginning of your release, the beginning of your convergence, the beginning of the proof that you were never random, never forgotten, never alone. Subscribe, share, testify. Step forward lighter, freer, unburdened. Because the path ahead was written for you long before you took your first breath. And now, finally, you are walking it.